Hey guys, it's Scott from fxmissions.com. Just a note, I've finished the trilogy of Anthologies from the Forefront, and all 3 books are currently available on Amazon.
Take your leadership to the next level. It's time for the Foundational Missions Leadership Moment with Scott McClelland of FX Missions.
Hi, it's Scott McClelland. Thanks for joining us. As you might recall from the last couple of podcasts, we're taking a break right now from our kind of series format to double back and do a little bit of a deep dive or practical review of some of the things we've said before. The last 2 were security and leadership and what Jesus said about leadership. In the last 2 podcasts, we talked and tried to give some practical input around that subject. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about obstacles. There were 7 or 8 in our obstacle series that are out there on the podcast. Please check them out if you haven't seen them. And next week, we're planning to do snares, which I don't know if that's a personal favorite, but certainly we worked hard to try to illuminate some snares to you in the, as you're growing as a young leader, as someone who's developing. How do we stay out of the enemy's traps or things that are going to waste our time? So watch for that next week. We also want to announce to you again that we're developing right now a leadership format that we're going to launch at FX Missions and make available in sort of a broad sense. We're in our second pilot phase right now. Hopefully by the end of the year, we have some announcements on that. So we'd appreciate your prayer support that the Lord would lead us and actually give you things, help us to give you things that would be valuable to you and help you grow in your capacity to be a good example. So appreciate that much. Jumping into our subject today, we did as was mentioned before, we did the obstacles series, overcoming obstacles on the path to influence. How do we overcome those obstacles? Is it really true that most people who have a calling don't overcome all the obstacles to get into a place of full influence? That has been something I've observed many times. And a lot of times we get trapped by things we don't even understand or don't realize. And so that series was hopefully intending to make you ready to face those. If we're doubling back here, just some few things to highlight about obstacles. Obstacles that are on your path are meant to stop you or change your direction. You've got a good heading. You feel like you're going in the right direction. You think the Lord's told you something. He's asked you to step out. He's given you something to do. The obstacles that are between you and accomplishing that, first, if they can't stop you, that would be the first intent of an obstacle, is to stop you. Secondarily, to change your direction, to cause you to change course, not to actually reach the destination that is in front of you. So watch out on this path and realize anything worthwhile is going to be resisted. Anything that you have that is worthwhile is going to be resisted. So don't be surprised by resistance, obstacles, problems, difficulties, misunderstandings. All those things are part of the territory. And don't let your mind be too excited about it. Calm yourself and focus, and you'll get through them. The Scriptures teach us that those who overcome will inherit all things. Overcoming, the idea of being an overcomer suggests there was something to overcome, and often that is an obstacle. One key when dealing with God or people, often where obstacles come from, often our obstacles are people, not circumstances, sometimes both. But anytime you're dealing with an obstacle, whether that's people, whether that's circumstances, or even if the Lord is opposing you, what should you do? The 2-word seminar here, humble yourself. Humble yourself. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, and He will exalt you in due season. Humble yourself is a good recipe. If you have an opportunity to humble yourself that comes from God or that comes from someone else, take it. It's a good recipe. And that is the key in general to overcoming obstacles that stand in your way. I'm Scott McClelland. Thanks for joining for this leadership moment. If you'd like to contact me or us, please do so at fxmissions.com. Until next time, have a good one.
This leadership moment was produced in partnership with Engaging Missions. Have your leadership question answered by contacting Scott at fxmissions.com. Visit FX Missions to learn more about how you can grow your leadership and engage in missions. Visit engagingmissions.com for encouragement, insight, and resources from missionaries, ministry leaders, and church planters.